in terms of the team news, Ange Postecoglou has been speaking in the press conference, and what have we got to think about for team news?
So great news when it comes to a lot of the injury worries after last weekend. Maddison and Son both went off against Liverpool with problems, but he said Maddison hasn't missed a training session this week, so he's available. He said Son has trained the last 2 days. So he's fine and available. You got Lo Celso and Brian Hill back in training as well. So it looks like they're in contention to play in this game as well. He's also saying that Donnelly and Dorrington have been training with the first team this week. So whether they're going to be involved in the squad remains to be seen. But that's also a very promising sign from them. But Brennan Johnson remains out. He confirms Solomon is going to be a while, about 2 or 3 months, with a meniscus injury. So that's a big blow. Perisic obviously still out, and Ryan Sessegnon still unavailable as well, and Rodrigo Bentancur. So a lot of injury problems, but I'm glad it's not as bad as maybe we feared after last week.
Yeah, and it's also kind of in areas of the pitch where we're covered, thankfully enough, because like if they were in other areas like centre-back, maybe another, like if Bissouma or Maddison or Sonny or one of these players that threatened to be out, it could have been a bit much bigger concern than it is now, isn't it?
Yeah, and in a weird way, even though Solomon has been playing well and stuff, I do kind of want to see what Ryan Hill can offer, and I'm kind of excited about that, and I'm gutted for Solomon because he's had a really good start to the season and he's really been contributing. But I guess when one door closes, another one opens, and I am excited for Brian Hill to get an opportunity in this kind of system.
And that was kind of another annoying reason. Obviously, we want to win a cup, but that was another annoying reason about going out the cup so early, because you've got players like Dorrington and you've got players like Donnelly knocking on the door at the moment with their performances they're putting in the under-21s. Ange is very impressed. You've got the likes of Brian Hill and Giovanni Lo Celso as well waiting in the wings. So is that more of a frustration for you that we're not going to probably see these players because just of lack of games, really?
Yeah, 100%. But at the end of the day, we have one game a week. Our first 11 is really strong at the moment. It's playing very well. So as much as frustration, some of these players won't get an opportunity, I'm very happy watching this first 11 every week.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's get into the formation. We're going for a 4-3-3 formation as per usual. And in goal, we are going to go for Vicario, obviously. Had a brilliant season so far. A bit of a different test coming up against a striker like Morris with a good aerial ability. But with what Vicario has shown so far, I don't really have a problem with him in this game at all, do you?
Yeah, not for me, obviously. And obviously he got nominated for Save of the Month for a brilliant save against Burnley as well. So that's good reward for another great month that he's had. And again, he's just been pretty much since the Brentford game, I can't think of anything wrong he's done. He's been absolutely phenomenal. So delighted for him, and hopefully he's not too busy this weekend.
Yeah, you don't really think he would, like with the way Luton play and the way we play. You really think it should be a quiet day for him, but that's famous last words sometimes. Yeah. So Vicario in goal. Right back, we're going to go for Pedro Porro, who's obviously, again, he's proving his worth to the Spurs fans, to Ange Postecoglou. On the right-hand side, he's just growing in confidence, growing in defensive ability as well. And like you said before in the match preview, he's going to be one of the most important players in this game.
I think so. And I think in the last 2 games, we've seen really his defensive game really come along, and he's done a really great not to be kind of exposed against Arsenal and Liverpool on that right-hand side. I think defensively he's been fantastic. But in this game, I want to see him go back to that player who gets into the final third, is providing contributions, because I think he could be key. If we're going to find that bit of quality, we know Porro can provide it because he's got bags of ability in his right foot, whether that be a shot, whether that be crosses across the face of goal, whether that be crosses from the half space as well. I think he can provide it. So I want to see Porro be more offensive in this game, but he could be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. That's kind of... He's kind of been a better defender than attacker so far this season, and that's just kind of like the polar opposite what we thought of him coming into this season. So at least he's like strengthening up on his weaknesses, but I would like to see him get back to his strength 100%. So Porro at right back, right centre back, we're obviously going to go for Cuti Romero, and I think to kind of block the passes that Morris is going to get, trying to like get in front, step in front of him and be really aggressive up against him, then he's going to be vital for that.
Yeah, he's going to take no shit from Morris. That's what I love about Romero. He's going to try and rough him up as much as possible. We know Morris is a big physical player, and he's not going to be easy to bully. But if anyone can do it, we know Romero can. And Romero tries to bully whoever's in front of him. He doesn't care who it is. I remember in when he played Antonio for the first time, and he completely bullied him. I remember at the Olympic Stadium. Huh?
I'm not sure about. I think they both got the better of each other at times that day.
All right. Well, he held his own, I would say, and that was in his first time he played against a really physical striker. So I don't think he's going to look at Morris and be intimidated at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely spot on. Left centre back, obviously Mickey van der Ven, and I think he's actually been the better of the two centre backs in recent weeks. I've been really impressed with him, especially in the last 2 or 3 games. What do you think about him this weekend?
I'm not worried about him, but I would say that if they were studying that Sheffield United game, they would have seen how much McBurney got joy out of winning headers from Van der Ven. And I think that's what they're going to that will be the tactical plan for them. Maybe get Morris to stick to Van der Ven and see what joy he can get out of him. So hopefully Van der Ven will be up to the task this time round and win a lot more aerial duels, and I'm sure he will be. And even if he does lose a few, I'm sure he can recover. We'll have the players around to win the second balls anyway, so it's not shouldn't be too much of an issue, but it's just something to look at, because against McBurney I felt he struggled a bit to win those aerial duels.
Mm-hmm. And then to make up that back four on the left hand side is going to be Destiny Udogie, who I actually think Luton do predominantly attack down the right-hand side, or they favour the right-hand side over the left. So he'll probably have his defensive work cut out a bit more than Pedro Porro in this game, but I've got no worries about Destiny. I think he's been brilliant all season. He stood up to the challenge of Saka and Salah really well. Obviously, against Saka, he came under a lot of pressure in the early stages of the game, but he grew from that and definitely was the more dominant player by the end of the game. But it'll just be sod's law that he stands up to Saka and Salah, and then and then against Luton, he founds wanting a little bit.
I'm sure he won't be. And in a weird way, offensively, he offers a different threat to Porro. Porro obviously likes to play in the half spaces, get crosses in the box. Udogie is actually more likely to take people on and actually get into the box himself and actually be like another option, like another attacker in that area. So I think he could be crucial as well when we're going forward. If he can find those spaces inside the box, I think as well, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one getting in the box and getting shots on goal as well, and being like not like a striker, but more like an auxiliary forward at times, because I think he's definitely shown flashes of ability to do that. And I think he could be very crucial, providing that extra body in the attack.
Yeah, he's just so physical, and he just kind of like bundles his way past players with his sheer physicality. And at the age of 20 years of age, it's so impressive what he's shown so far in a Spurs shirt. But let's run through the back line with you guys one more time. It's Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Udogie left back, with the centre-back pairing of Romero and Van der Ven, a very familiar back four as we've seen all season. I think that's been the back four apart from the first game of the season, right, when Emerson played ahead of Porro. But let's move on to the midfield. In the number 6 position, obviously going to be Yves Bissouma, who's just been a shining light as many as other players. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't find the space he has found in some of the other games this season, but he's got so much quality. It's still going to be difficult to stop for Luton to stop him, even if they do clog up the central areas. He's so good at finding the little space there is. So I think he is going to be have a crucial part to play in this game, and I want to see maybe a bit more advanced, because obviously he's going to be playing in that central area in around the halfway line. But with how Luton are going to try and frustrate us, I want to see him maybe push up a bit and try and do what he does in the centre, maybe a bit further forward, and that can help break down this Luton team. I remember against Sheffield United, he had that moment, didn't he, where he takes the ball just like in the final third. He went past 2 Sheffield United players into the box and Indy's
first half,
in the first half. So if he can have a few moments like that, that can maybe really help try and break down this Luton team.
I kind of feel like he enjoys the tight spaces even more than sometimes when he has that space, because he just wriggles out of these kind of tight spaces so often, so press resistant as well. So I'm not worried about Bissouma whatsoever. In terms of his midfield partner, we're going to go for, on the right hand side, Pape Matar, who is just got so much bundle of energy, and he's going to be key to us to win that midfield battle.
Yeah, and he's going to have to show a bit more guile on the ball in this game. Obviously, he's shown a bit ability when he got that assist against Bournemouth. He can pick those passes if need be, but we're going to need to see that on a more consistent basis. Against Sheffield United, when we played that game, he was good at like getting shots off, but his passing wasn't really threatening enough for me to try and open up that back line. It's in these kind of games I wouldn't even mind seeing that Maddison next to a Lo Celso and just that extra creative option in there to cause more problems for Luton. So I think if Lo Celso was more fit, and I think maybe I'll consider starting him, but I think Sarah's been good enough anyway, and he's shown his ability to on the ball enough for me to be comfortable with him in the team. But it's just these kind of games where I wouldn't be surprised if Lo Celso was to start against Maddison.
Interesting. And then obviously James Maddison to make up that midfield three, he is going to be the key man for us in this game, 100%. He's got the ability to pick a lock against any sort of defence. And with our struggles against low blocks so far this season, Sheffield United and against Liverpool, obviously we did end up winning those games very late on. But I want to see Maddison really take the authority in this game and be that chance creation king that we know he can be.
Yeah, I'm really hoping everything goes through him. He's the main creator in chief. He's the one that if we're going to find a spark, especially in those central clogged up areas, it's going to be Maddison to find it. And hopefully, look, he's come away this week injury free, which is really, really positive. Hopefully there are no kind of lingering injury issues going into this game for him. And if he's fully fit, I think he's the one. He's the key, I think, to unlocking this Luton defence. And whether that be a through ball, a cross from the half space to the back post, a shot from 25 yards, I think he can provide that little bit of magic. So I think he's the key in this game.
And then moving on to the front line, you probably would have guessed it, but on the right-hand side, we are going to go for Deki. Obviously, that's Dejan Kulusevski, who I think is actually going to be really vital in this game. I thought the way Sterling came up against Luton, I mean, they had loads of space on that right-hand side, and he attacked that side ferociously. And I want to see Kulusevski do something similar. We know his ball-carrying ability, and especially his ball-carrying ability inside the box is brilliant and second to none really in this league this season. So I want to see him do that, but also have the end product as well to match.
Yeah, and I think I agree he's going to be crucial in this game because that ability to carry the ball into the penalty box when you've got defenders on you, especially when you're playing a low block, is going to be crucial. And it's very, very hard to stop because he's such a physical player. You can't really muscle him off the ball. And it's very difficult to stop him doing what he wants to do when it comes to getting into the penalty box and opening up the defence and causing problems for your defence, whether that be dragging players out of position or just making your defence go deeper and creating more space. So I think he's going to be very crucial in the front line. And I think this game should be very suited to him with his physical attributes and his work in tight spaces. So I think he's going to be an important player for us.
I want to see him bully their fullback really, or their centre back, or whoever he's coming up against, and really stamp his authority in the game. Up front, we're obviously going to go for Heung-min Son, and like I said before in the preview, we don't need him to be involved in all facets of the game, but just be there to finish the ball every time the ball comes into the box, and with his clinical finishing that we've seen all season, just carry on doing what you're doing.
I 100% agree, and I think he's shown signs last couple of games that he's really starting to get better to grips even more with that side of being a striker. Obviously, he showed against Burnley what he can do when he's got space in behind to run into and how deadly he can be. Against Sheffield United, he struggled to really get involved in the game, and he was restricted to maybe shots from outside the box. But against Arsenal and Liverpool, obviously all three goals coming from inside the box, but especially the first two he scored in both games. Very much striker's efforts from a player with very clever movement, and he showed even when he's got defenders around him, he can still impact the game. So he needs to show that kind of side to this game in this one. Yeah,
and then last but not least, to make up the final 11 on the left-hand side, we are going to go for Richarlison, who definitely, since coming back from the international duty, seemed to have a bit of a weight lifted off his shoulders, seemed to be playing with a lot more freedom and confidence, and hopefully he can take that kind of momentum and form into this game and really get on the score sheet again.
Yeah, and I think obviously he played off the left against Liverpool and had a really good game, got himself an assist, and was probably unlucky, not to have more. He hit the post as well, and maybe didn't get the credit he deserved for what was a really solid game for him. And he definitely has been improving and making an impact. He got a goal and assist against Sheffield United in a fixture which we needed him to turn it around as well. And I think it's going to be crucial whether he plays centre or on the left. His ability in the air when crosses are in the box is going to be crucial. If Kulusevski is cutting inside, he's going to have to make that dart to the back post and make sure he's creating space and getting on the end of things. He could also be very, very crucial in this game as well. So I'm hoping for another strong performance from Richarlison.
All right, well, let's run through that lineup with you guys. Completely unchanged from Liverpool, we're predicting, with Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, Kuti Romero and Mickey van der Ven in the centre-back positions, with Yves Bissouma, Matasar and James Maddison as a midfield three, with Dejan Kulusevski and Richarlison supporting Heung-min Son up front. The predictions we are going for: Sim is going for 1-0 to Spurs. I'm going for 3-0 to Spurs. So let me know your predictions and predicted lineup. Do you think there will be any changes from the Liverpool game in the comment section below? And that is your predicted lineup for the game this weekend.